Coming to you from the corner with the radiator, it's day 5 and time for another quick strike! Hello everyone and welcome back to the Dohyo here on Mr. J-Wag's channel. As always, mid-Basho, we don't do full episodes, we do tiny, little, amuse-bouche, tapa-sized episodes we call the Quick Strike. And now we are going to talk about the amazing May Basho from day 5 and before. So if you have not watched through day 5, there will be spoilers starting right after this cut. I'm pretty sure no one expected this leaderboard coming out of day 5. Aoyama and Ichi Yamamoto. Okay, two low Maegashira pusher thrusters. Now, Aoyama seems to be one Basho late. He seems to do really, really well one Basho a year, and it's almost always March, or at least it has been for the past 2 or 3 years. March wasn't that great for Aoyama, but now he looks amazing. And I've said before about Aoyama, he's the kind of guy with the body he has, when he's on his game, he looks invincible. I do think he is vincible. I think later on he's going to get aggressively promoted. I think a lot of these very overachieving Maegashira are going to sort of head down in the next week. Same with Ichi Yamamoto. He's been just at the Juryo, like Makauchi line. I don't think he's ever gotten more than 8 wins in Makauchi. He's already gotten 5 now, so I'm pretty sure he's going to beat that, but I don't think he's going to do very well once he starts getting up to even like the mid-Maegashira ranks. I don't think his true talent level lies up there. I could be wrong. Like I said, I don't know that much about the guy, except he has sort of a very obby sort of double-handed style, but he seems to be a little bit more solid in his feet. Interested to see how Ichi Yamamoto finishes the tournament. We got a whole lot of 4-in-1, so just to make sure I get all of them. Our 4-in-1s are Terano Fuji, Daisho, Sadano Umi, Wakamoto Haru, Tamawashi, and Tobizaru. It's always nice to know when you make your predictions, like just in the first 5 days, your predictions are mostly shot. Ooh, plane. So we seem to have just a bunch of Maegashira popping up to the 5-0s and the 4-in-1s. I don't really think any of these Maegashira are going to stick around very long. Of all the ones you've mentioned, Tobizaru, Wakamoto Haru, Aoyama, Ichi Yamamoto, I don't think if their last 5 days is against all Sanyaku opponents, they win more than one of those matches. But as we're finding out, I am very wrong about sumo sometimes. The 2 favorites right now seem to be Terunofuji, because he should always be the favorite, as the Yokozuna. Now, Daisho, I expected to have sort of a modest tournament, a 6-9, where he fought well. He seems to be really on his game. The pushing and thrusting, the energy, everything seems to be just on point. He's really Genki this tournament. Terunofuji. Even if Terunofuji's only 90%, I still expect him to win 13 wins. I just think he's that much better than everyone else right now. So he's looking fairly healthy, only lost to Daisho, who has given him trouble in the past. He still could be on the path for a 14-1 Yusho. I wouldn't say many people would get 14 straight wins, but Terunofuji's the one. Kotonowaka, 3-2, beat 3 Ozeki right at the top. But our Ozeki are not doing so great right now. Now, don't get me wrong, I expected Kotonowaka to get a Makekoshi. He still could, but he's faced a lot of the meat grinder very, very early, and he should be favored in a lot of his late matches, so I think he's going to get Makekoshi, if not like a 10-12 win breakout this tournament. But yeah, doing a lot better than I expected. Alright, Wakamoto Haru, middle brother. Still really, really solid. I still have no idea what his ceiling is, because he doesn't have like dominating, overwhelming sumo, but he just seems to keep winning. Looks like he's headed for another Kachikoshi, and maybe up in the Joy next tournament. Let's see how this turns out. And Tamawashi, he's looked good to start tournaments before. If he is still like 8-2 on day 10, maybe we can talk about it, but I do not think this 37-year-old body is going to be 100% for all 15 days. Although, I believe today he is now officially number 4 on the consecutive matches list, passing Takamiyama. Good on you, Tamawashi. Nice. Got a few people I'm worried about early. Meisei does not look dominant down in like Maegashira 13. He should be destroying people down here with his talent level. That tells me he's still hurt. Hope he can hold rank and then health up a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes Kyujo later in the tournament. Kota Shoho. Very frustrating wrestler. He's so big, he has a lot of technique, but just sometimes he gets the Bambi legs and his butt gets really high. And when your butt gets high, that means your center of gravity is high and it's easier to throw a person with those long-ass legs. I love Kota Shoho. I just want him to start getting a bit more of his presence into the ring and be able to really push people with the power I know he has. And speaking of power, Takara Fuji doesn't seem to be having any. As I mentioned in the predictions, I didn't have a specific prediction for Takarafuji because I didn't know which way he's going. His style is based on stamina and being able to outweight your opponent. He's getting up there in years. 0-5 tells me he doesn't have another Joy run in me at this point. He's looking pretty weak at this point. Hoping for a big second week turnaround, because I'd like to see him up in Makuuchi. Takayasu, 1-4. I did expect him to get a Make Koshi. 1-4 is pretty bad. He's right there in the meat grinder. I still think he's on pace for like 6-7 wins, but he's losing matches he doesn't normally lose to people he doesn't usually lose to. I'm just hoping this is a meat grinder sort of early week thing, and he's going to be fine in the second week, get up to like 6-7 wins, stay in the Joy. And all the Ozeki. First week is when the Ozeki are supposed to like rack stuff up, and in the first 10 days, if Ozeki don't have like 7 wins, they're in a little bit of trouble in that last chunk, because Ozeki are going to face other Ozeki and Yokozuna in those last few days, so they need to bank these wins. We have Takakeisho at 3-2. He looks at about 80%. He had a Yori Kiri, I think one of only 5 in his career, but when he's doing stuff like that, that just means that his general wave action doesn't seem to be working, and it doesn't. He managed to pull out a sweet old swipe left on Hoshoryu, but I haven't seen him really dominating his matches yet. I am worried about his second week, and I don't think he's going to get the Jun Yusho anymore. Takayumi, my other pick for Jun Yusho. He just seems really unfocused. This feels like the Shin Ozeki hangover I was expecting last tournament. Kind of like Aoyama doing well in March. Let's see how he's doing. He just seems to be getting out-wrestled at certain points by people who he usually beats. I thought the Kotonowaka match could have gone to a Tori no Oshi. It felt like 50-50 to me, but then again, no one has been able to successfully explain the dead body roll to me. So, and Shodai. Started 1-4 last time. Seemed to be okay. Is he just the kind of guy who's going to turn it on in the second week from here on out? Maybe, but does not look good for Shodai. I would love to be wrong about this again for the second straight Basho. Alright, I'll see you on day 10 for another Quick Strike!